Hello, I am Brianna. Welcome to my life on paper, where paper and pictures tell my story. It's the first of the month, so today I am sharing a layout for my design team, Stick It Down. It is on Facebook, and every month there is a new sketch for a double page layout, a single page layout, and a card. And everyone is encouraged to put their version onto the Facebook page in the album, and they can get a chance to be chosen to be the guest designer for the following month. I am using the double page sketch, and as you can see, it had that beautiful, gorgeous, large snowflake, which I am not using. Uh, uh, as I always say, a sketch is a jumping off point for you, so take it for inspiration. I have beach pictures, so I will be doing kind of a sunset. So, what I am doing is okay, so I'm currently in Florida where I took these pictures, and I don't have my whole stash with me, and I don't have a lot of papers. So I am tracing the rays onto this white cardstock. I'm going to tear the rays out of the paper, and I'm going to ink them with some inks. I have Distress Oxide and Mustard Seed, and then I have a Catherine Pooler ink and Tiki Torch. They are both different inks, so you will see they work differently. But currently, I'm going to just tear out these rays of the sun, and I'm making sure to tear them. This is going to sound weird, but all in the same direction. So it is white. It has a white core, but you'll definitely get a different look depending on if you're pulling which way of the you're tearing. So one part that you're tearing is going to have more of the core showing, and then the other side not. And even though it's white, it gives a different appearance. So um, all right. So, like I said, I'm using these two different inks. The Tiki Torch is a dye ink, and the seed is a distress oxide. So the distressed oxide is more of chalky, and it's going to like blend and kind of glide across the paper better. Where the Tiki Torch works well for stamping, but you can see it just doesn't blend as well. So you and right away I went down with a heavy hand, so I've got this big orange blotch. So I'm just going to take more orange, and you can see I'm being more gentle now and just kind of dabbing it. But I'm going to get this two-toned effect from the orange and the yellow, which is perfect for a sunset. The first ray, it because I was just starting and trying to figure out my technique, took me a lot longer than the rest of the rays. So you'll only see me do inking the first one, and then I'll skip ahead. But it just so that the rest of them mostly were shorter as well. But I had the technique down, so then it goes. I learned what works and what doesn't, so it goes faster then. At the beginning, I had a paper, like a specialty paper that looked like waves, and it matched the color of my Catherine Pooler All That Jazz, that turquoise color that you see next to my left hand. And at first, I thought I was going to ink the background onto the white with the blue because I'm going to be doing waves, and then I would lay um, the wave paper on top. But I ended up and I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I ended up liking it so much I didn't cover it with the waves, and I just made it. I thought that adding that extra part would make it stand out more than the rest. I didn't want to do that either. So I had to get creative, and this is my sand. And as you can see, it's wood grain, but I think by just using a little bit, and it's kind of the right color, that it works for sand. Um, and again, I'm gonna uh, pull it pull it kind of towards me while I rip it so that I like the white core showing. I know some people don't, but you just have to pay attention to which way you're ripping when you're doing it so that you can get the look you want. So at first I thought I might double this to give it more of like kind of mounds of sand. But once I got it down, I didn't like the way it looked because this isn't like it's not mounds of snow, it's not, I think actually the water might look better layered like that. So I just stuck with the one straight across. So I've got my raise there. Now I'm going to work on my water. And this took me a little bit to figure out how I wanted to do it. So I started off just like I was doing the raise, but I need a lot more area covered. And right away I thought this is not going to work for the whole back, the whole area that I need. This is going to take me for absolute ever. So after doing this for a little bit, I will switch my technique. And again, this is the dye ink, so it's not if this was the Distress Oxide, it actually might have worked better to put all or faster, I shouldn't say better, faster to put all over the background. But because it is the dye ink, and again, I love it for stamping. It is great for stamping images, but I didn't have the patience to do this all over the background. So I will get some water and I will get a paintbrush. And even now with the water, it takes me a while to figure out how to do this. So I go right away for the water and then dip it into the ink. Then I tried my fan because I thought, ooh, this will cover a bigger area. No, but it gives give it a nice texture there. So kind of accidentally, so then I'm trying to put the ink on the paper and then go over it with water, which didn't work either. But kind of accidentally, I go into the water first, and right from the water, I'll go to the stamp pad, and that is my ticket to getting to kind of watercolor with this ink. So there you see, I figured it out now. So, and I kind of forget, it's like you have to slow down because it's not intuitive to go ink, dip it in water, and then on the page. But I really like, and I'm not trying to be perfect. You can see how I'm just getting it quickly down on the page, not going any certain order or direction or anything. And then I'm just going to finish up here, and then I will start to um, tear this to make my waves over my sand. Every month, Stick It Down has a new sketch for a double page layout, as well as a single page layout, as well as that card layout. So you can also go back months and months and months and months to see those past layouts. Well, past layouts that people have posted, as well as this past sketches, which is really fun. So lots of good sketches there. All right, so I'm going to tear this white paper now that's painted with the All That Jazz Catherine Pooler ink. And then this one I take off all that white. I didn't want that much white. Although, it could be a foaming of the ocean there, but and then I'm going to use the rest of it on the other side. So I'll just uh, I'm thinking hard, which side do I want? Which side do I want up? Which side do I want torn? Which side do I want tucked under? And then I'll go ahead and tear that as well. And I am just making little bits. I mean, you can make them as the big mountains or hills or whatever you like, but I'm just kind of keeping my fingers close and keeping good control and just taking little bits at a time. And then once all the ripping is done for the water, I can start to assemble the page. I'll get my water down with my sand and I'm going to match them up. I use three ring binders, those kind of albums. I scrap chronological, but I don't always scrap in that order, in the exact order. So I like to be able to move my pages around. Um, so that works awesome. They don't lay like right up to each other in that kind of an album, although they're close. It's got the rings in the way, but I still do like to match up my sides to get them pretty exact. So that's what I am doing here. And I do take a little bit of time to make sure that they're not going to be perfect. They're absolutely not going to be perfect, but to get them close, and then you have to, it's always that one paper is like shorter than the other. So a good idea. I heard it from RTS Janet Madison that you should, if you have a white space, if those pieces aren't covering, leave that to the middle because that's not where your eye is going. That's going to be more of the hidden part, if you will. So you want to make sure your outside pieces really match up exactly. Don't worry so much about the inside pieces. And that's what I am doing here. And then I will just sneak the ATG underneath once I have them lined up. This will be longer than my normal videos with all of the tearing and inking and all pieces going into it, but also with it being a double page layout, it just takes a little bit longer than my normal one page. Or although I love 2 pages. Before starting my YouTube channel, I'd have to say I'd always did 2 page layouts. And I did the switch mostly because of of YouTube hops and schedules and things like that. However, um, it's something that I kind of intersperse. Like if I'm doing a layout just for myself, I might do a 2 page if I have a lot of photos. Okay, so I do have my Cricut here, which I usually use to make my circles on my photos, but this worked really well. So it's just the lid of a coffee uh, can. They're plastic now. Do we still call them cans? Um, Coffee container. And it's just about 4 inches around. So I will do that. And I know, this probably isn't perfect. Sometimes I know people that will distress the out with their hand cutting a circle, they'll distress the outside, which you certainly could do, and I certainly could have done on this photo. Um, but I just kept it this way. I think you'll see in the end, it looks pretty much like a circle. I'm not too worried about being perfectly perfect. So, like I said, we've been in Florida for a couple weeks, and we like to go down to the beach in the evening to catch the sunset. And so here on the left, you see a beautiful sunset. And then um, on the right is a picture of myself and my husband. And then the other picture, it was so interesting. We got down there and like um there was a tent set up, and then there's all these people around this guy playing piano, but you didn't hear anything. Well, they were all wearing headphones where I'm assuming they could all hear the music. Um, and you're in a serene setting. They're sitting kind of, I don't know if there was a set of rocks there, but yeah, and it was still serene for us because it wasn't like there was, we didn't hear anything. Probably came in towards the middle or something of the concert. So I thought it was a really cool idea and something I had never seen before. I think normally I would have used my ATG to put down the rays as well as the photo, but I felt like it was easier for me at this time to kind of stick the glue underneath the liquid glue instead of the ATG. So that's what I did. I went into my stash and I found some things from a couple different collections. All those stickers are from Paper Studio, and then you can see the one there that says Florida with the sunset. I really thought about using that one. I did not. I'm going with Beach Bummin. But there is a yellow um, ephemera that says All Things Sunny. That is from Simple Stories um, Journal Bits Summer Snapshots. And the orange tag is from Hypocrite Club. And then, oh, there's a seagull um, on a yellow tag there. And that is also from Simple Stories Summer Snapshots. So this paper I used to cut out with my Cricut some seagulls. I wasn't sure what I wanted to put in the as kind of the decoration part of it, like the snowflakes in the sketch. And at first I thought flowers, and um, that didn't seem right. And then I thought of seagulls because they're going to be in the air. And I first thought about cutting them out of the paper, but the rest is torn, and so I wasn't sure about that. So I made a template, and then I'm just using my Twilight by Catherine Pooler, another dye ink that I'm using to subtly get these sequels onto the back of the page. So, um, yeah, sometimes you have to get kind of creative when you don't have all your stash in front of you, but it makes for a good use of the stuff that you do have. So I was happy that this worked out. I'm very pleased with it. Tried to make 3 different size seagulls, and then the other thing is the very first seal I put on was not my best, it was probably the worst one, but, uh it's going away. Normally you try to put stuff where it's looking into the photo, you're into your middle of your page or into your, you know, so it doesn't look like it's flying off the page. But I wonder here if because it's a two-page layout, it doesn't matter as much because it's gonna fly onto the other page, right? And it's all good. But the rest of the seagulls, then I made sure that they were all facing towards the inside of its own page there. And I think I've got 5 seagulls on the left, 3 seagulls on the right. Odd numbers are always more pleasing to the eye. I do trim those photos down just a little bit, a quarter of an inch all the way around. So they were 4 by 6, so it would be 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And my photos are bigger than what's on the sketch, and that is okay. So I'm going to adhere those down with the ATG adhesive, and then I will actually I'll put a couple more seagulls or those 3 more seagulls onto the right hand side page, and then I'll get my cluster or my ephemera. I'll get those glued down on the bottom there. So my question is, how do you feel about tearing paper? Obviously have no problems with it. Some people don't like to do it. I guess if you're very like I know I'm very linear, but you might have a problem with tearing, but I don't. Let me know down below. Is that something you do on your scrapbook pages or not? So here is the last. Oh, and it was interesting that like one of the last ones, that big bird next to our photo there. Um, it was seemed like I got heavy-handed, and I didn't do it any differently, I didn't think, than all the rest of them, but that's okay. I really like how those seagulls turned out. So here I play along with these for a long time. I was trying to get the three of them together. It was just not working for me. I don't know what it was, but I layered them up every which way. I layered that piece and the tag, um, wanting to see all the clouds and the seagull and everything. And then after I did that, I just couldn't get this other piece to lay weight with it. So I'm going to get that sticker down right where it is now. And then eventually I will figure out, I'm going to move that uh, All Things Sunny, I'm going to move it up by the photo. There we go. So it fills up some of that space there and then allows the bottom cluster not to be so overwhelmed. And then the title nestles nicely in there next to the tag. I had to try really hard not to add splatters to this page, but I just didn't. I was afraid of wrecking it. So I do like the way it turned out, and I did hold back from using those splatters. So that is it for me today. I want to say thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and please come back and see me again soon.